Chapter 5 of Free Air. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Free Air by Sinclair Lewis. Chapter 5. Release brakes, shift to third. Milt Daggett had not been accurate in his implication that he had not noticed Claire at a garage in Schoenstrom. For one thing, he owned the garage. Milt was the most prosperous young man in the village of Schoenstrom. Neither the village itself nor the nearby Strom is really Schoen. The entire business district of Schoenstrom consists of Heine Rauskukel's general store, which is brick, the Leipzig house, which is frame, the old home pool room and restaurant, which is of old logs concealed by a frame sheathing, the farm machinery agency, which is galvanized iron, its roof like an enlarged washboard, the church, the three saloons, and the Red Tail garage, which is also, according to various signs, the agency for Teal Car Best at the Test, Stonewall Tire Service Station, sewing machines and binders repaired, Dr. Hostrom the veterinarian every Thursday, gas today 27 cents. The Red Tail garage is of cement and tapestry brick. In the office is a clean hardwood floor, a typewriter, and a picture of Elsie Ferguson. The establishment has an automatic rim stretcher, a wheel jack, and a reputation for honesty. The father of Milt Daggett was the old doctor, born in Maine, coming to this frontier in the day when Chippewas camped in your dooryard, and came in to help themselves to coffee, which you made of roasted corn. The old doctor bucked Northwest blizzards, read Dickens and Byron, pulled people through typhoid, and left to Milt his shabby old medicine case and thousands of dollars in uncollectible accounts. Mrs. Daggett had long since folded her crinkly hands in quiet death. Milt had covered the first 2 years of high school by studying with the priest, and had been sent to the city of St. Cloud for the last 2 years. His father had meant to send him to the State University, but Milt had been born to a talent for machinery. At 12 he had made a telephone that worked. At 18 he was engineer in the tiny flour mill in Schoenstrom. At 25, when Claire Boltwood chose to come tearing through his life in a Gomez Dep, Milt was the owner, manager, bookkeeper, wrecking crew, ignition expert, thoroughly competent bill collector, and all but one of the working force of the Red Trail garage. There were two factions in Schoenstrom: the retired farmers, who said that German was a good enough language for anybody, and that taxes for schools and sidewalks were, yes, something crazy; and the group who stated that a pig pen is a fine place, but only for pigs. To this second revolutionary wing belonged a few of the first generation, most of the second, and all of the third, and its leader was Milt Daggett. He did not talk much, normally, but when he thought things ought to be done, he was as annoying as a machine gun test in the lot next to a Quaker meeting. If there had been a war, Milt would probably have been in it, rather casual, clearing his throat, reckoning and guessing that maybe his men might try going over and taking that hill, then taking it. But all of this history concerns the year just before America spoke to Germany, and in this town, buried among the cornfields and the wheat, men still thought more about the price of grain than about the souls of nations. On the evening before Claire Boltwood left Minneapolis and adventured into democracy, Milt was in the garage. He wore union coveralls that were tan where they were not grease black, a faded blue cotton shirt, and the crown of a derby, with the rim not too neatly hacked off with a dull-toed stabber jackknife. Milt smiled at his assistant, Ben Sitka, and suggested, "Well, wie geht's, Mitt? The work, eh? Like to stay and get the prof's flivver out so he can have it in the morning?" "You bet, boss." "Getting to be quite a mechanic, Ben." I'll say so. If you get stuck, come yank me out of the old home." "Aw, rats, boss. I'll finish it. You beat it." Ben grinned at Milt adoringly. Milt stripped off his overalls and derby crown, and washed his big firm hands with gritty soft soap. He cleaned his nails with a file which he carried in his upper vest pocket in a red imitation morocco case which contained a comb, a mirror, an indelible pencil, and a notebook with the smudged pencil addresses of 5 girls in St. Cloud and a memorandum about Rauskukle's car. He put on a twisted brown tie, an old blue serge suit, and a hat which, being old and shabby, had become graceful. He ambled up the street. He couldn't have ambled more than 3 blocks, and have remained on the street. Schoenstrom tended to leak off into jungles of tall corn. 2 men waved at him, and one demanded, "Say, Milt, is whiskey good for the toothache? What do you think? The doc said it didn't do any good, but then, by gosh, he's only just out of college." "I guess he's right." "Is that a fact? Well, I'll keep it off, then." 2 stores farther on, a bulky farmer hailed, "Say, Milt, should I get an ensilage cutter yet?" "Yuh," in the manner of a man who knows too much to be cocksure about anything. "I don't know but what I would, Julius." "I guess I will, then." Minnie Rauskukle, the plump, hearty Minnie heiress to the general store, gave evidence by bridling and straightening her pigeon-like body that she was aware of Milt behind her. He did not speak to her. He ducked into the door of the old home pool room and restaurant. Milt ranged up to the short lunch counter in front of the pool table, where 2 brick-necked farm youngsters were furiously slamming balls around and attacking cigarettes. Loose-jointedly, Milt climbed on a loose-jointed high stool, and to the proprietor, Bill McGolwey, his best friend, he yawned, "You might poison me with a hamburger and a slab of apple, Mac." "I'll do just that little thing." "Look kind of grouchy tonight, Milt." "Too much excitement in this burg. Saw 3 people on the streets all simultaneously to once." "What's been eating you lately?" "Me? Nothing. Only I do get tired of this metropolis. One of these days I'm going to buck some bigger place." "Try Gopher Prairie, maybe," suggested Mac, through the hiss and steam of the frying hamburger sandwich. "Rats. Too small." "Small? Why, there's darn near 5,000 people there." "I know, but I want to tackle some sure 'nuff city, like Duluth or New York." "But what did you do?" "That's the devil of it. I don't know just what I do want to do. I could always land soft in a garage, but that's nothing new." "Might hit Detroit and learn the motor factory end." "Ah, you're the limit, Milt. Always looking for something new." "That's the way to get on. The rest of this town is afraid of new things. Remember when I suggested we all chip in on a dynamo with a gas engine and have electric lights? The hicks almost died of nervousness." "Yeah, that's true, but you stick here, Milt. You and me will just naturally run this burg." "I'll say. Only, gosh, Mac, I would like to go to a real show once, and find out how radio works, and see 'em put in a big suspension bridge." Milt left the old home rather aimlessly. He told himself that he positively would not go back and help Ben Sitka get out the prof's car. So he went back and helped Ben get out the prof's car, and drove the same to the prof's. The prof, otherwise Professor, otherwise Mr. James Martin Jones, B.A., and Mrs. James Martin Jones, welcomed him almost as noisily as had Mac. They begged him to come in. With Mr. Jones he discussed, "No, ye Clares of Brooklyn Heights, this man and this threadbare young superintendent of a paint-bare school, talking in a town that was only a comma on the line, did not discuss corn-growing, nor did they reckon to guess that by heck the constable was carrying on with the witty Perkins. They spoke of fish culture, Elihu Root, the spiritualistic evidences of immortality, the government ownership, self-starters for flivvers, and the stories of Irvin Cobb." Milt went home earlier than he wanted to. Because Mr. Jones was the only man in town besides the priest who read books, because Mrs. Jones was the only woman who laughed about